I'm Emily Wilkins. I'm here at the Marketing Metal Creator Space with my dear friend and mentor and amazing person that I call crying sometimes. This is Alexandria Trusov, and she has been helping us with client work for 30 years. We make a pretty awesome team, I just have to say.
I like to say that I set basics, and then Emily brings all the personality and glitter. That's what I like to say.
I'm wearing a shirt that says glitter.
I know.
So.
That is what you do, the glitter. Thanks for having me. Come visit you today.
Thank you for coming here today.
I love visiting with you.
Manning my booth so I can get out of here and go meet people.
It's what we're here for. Trade shows are a great way to get out and chat with people about different industries. I remember last year we talked to this really interesting dude from Pennsylvania, and his company makes awnings. Yes, I still remember that an entire year later. Awnings and eaves.
Yeah.
Because we had an entire conversation about how they were branding the company.
Yeah.
And you don't get those kinds of conversations if you're not in a trade show.
So many good conversations this year.
I've been chatting with the people. It's been very enjoyable. And then there's all the people who came looking for you because you're well known in the community, which is great.
Well, I'm not the one with hundreds of published articles in American Machine.
American Machinist, Founder Management and Tech, and a couple in Industry Week. And they're articles. They're not as exciting as videos. So mostly they're written, honestly, for other marketers so that when your boss asks you a thing, like, I would like to know the ROI of this one damn ad, which is a thing your boss will ask you, so that you can cite to them exactly why that doesn't work. And it's not just you saying it. So you can say, oh, by the way, here's an article, as my most recent article is, about the fact that there is no ROI on one brand, because it's like brand on one ad, ever, because it's like brand Jenga. It's your website, it's the social media posts, it's what your staff does, it's the trade show event you went to, it's the digital ads you're running, oh, and that one print ad that your boss asked about. It all works together, and it's called brand equity. And there's an ROI on your brand equity and your brand value, and you measure that with engagement, leads, and sales. But there is no ROI on the one ad. And basically the articles are written so you can just hand that to your boss and you don't have to say it.
Yeah.
So you can keep your job and your boss can just take me. It's fine. So I was actually recently asked about the ROI of one ad, and the column is the result of that.
I love reading your articles and just hearing your eyes rolling as I'm reading it.
Sometimes I send you previews and go, I was annoyed that day.
So tell us what else you do.
So I help Emily sometimes, and I have my own consulting business where I help with branding and marketing for manufacturing businesses, tech firms. And then I have a day job where I work for a company that owns another 10 companies. So I am immersed all day in SEO, branding. This is very much my place, my world. And I've done that in the manufacturing space for close to 20 years at this point. I started my career actually in market research. So I have a background in branding, customer satisfaction, loyalty, all of those kinds of things that work really well with marketing. Yeah, that's what they work with.
She's also a vampire and does not sleep.
I sleep. I do sleep.
Okay.
I sleep. Yeah.
I don't know how you have time for all the things.
It's fine. We can all sleep when we're dead. No, really, actually get your 8 hours. It's good for you.
It is.
It totally is. You'll be much more energized.
I slept so hard last night. I'm so tired.
Well, you were here all day on the trade show floor. Yeah, people don't realize trade shows are a lot of work. Yeah, it's fun to go somewhere new, but it is a lot of work. And a trade show actually has 3 parts, because you have to have everything ready before the show. You have to plan what you're going to have at the show. You're going to have announcements go out to people and tell people, I'm going to be at the show. I'd love to see you, set things up. You're at the show, and then you've got, when the show is done, in addition to packing up and sending it away, you've got the follow-up. It's all the follow-up of all the people you met, all the people you didn't meet who still attended and you want to reach out to. You've got all that follow-up to do. So it's actually a 3-part, and you're only partway through. It's like a triathlon.
It is, yes. Yes, and we're on the middle one, whatever one that is.
Is that swimming?
Maybe. I don't know if they're always in the same order.
Okay, triathlon people, please chime in. Are they in the same order? We don't know.
We don't know. We're not triathlon people, clearly.
No, we both swim.
Yes.
One of us runs, the other walks. It's fine. You don't run? Okay.
Well, that's not true. I do run at the back. I hate running.
Are there bears? That would be about it.
Probably. I don't know.
It's the only time I run.
I can run in the woods, not on pavement, if I have like a good podcast or a book or something, and my dog's with me. And
See, so you do
especially
run.
if there's water at the end and I can jump in.
See, okay, what is that, a biathlon?
It's a biathlon. I don't like biking.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have a motor, no. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. Well, I disagree with that because I sail and there's no motor. But
No, biking specifically.
biking space, yeah.
Specifically, if it doesn't have a motor, no, thank you.
Agreed on that one.
This is why we work together.
Yes. We've been talking a lot about connections in the industry and the importance of building connections, specifically in manufacturing. Who you know is everything.
There are so many points to this. The first is networking has always been a huge part of manufacturing because so many manufacturers, I'm sorry, but so many manufacturers are not awesome at marketing themselves. And they aren't awesome at having great websites that can be found. So it literally is who you know to know what they do. Because that off-brand thing that they do in the back room is the thing you need done, right? And that's a huge part of it. In addition to that, because I think that's old school networking as I think of it. Yeah. In addition to that, there's also the new level where we have younger people who are coming into the industry, which is fantastic, and creating podcasts. And they all know each other, which is fantastic. And then they talk about it to each other. And they exchange guests and information and other people. Like, for example, our friend Megan has a podcast on LinkedIn, and I sent her a couple of Foundry people because she didn't know that Foundries are a thing in the US, and there are literally thousands of them still in business here. It's who you know and what you know and how it becomes, and trade shows are part of that, a huge part of that networking. One of the parts that you do well is LinkedIn networking. I can't tell you how many people have walked up to this booth today and said, I know Emily from LinkedIn. We're connected on LinkedIn. Somebody took a selfie with me and sent it to her because they know her on LinkedIn. You're very, very good at that. And I think it is a different kind of networking, and it's connection and knowing what people do and what they're good at and staying in front of them with what you do and what you're good at. And it's critical. It's critical to build business.
I've been tricking people with my classes today. They come up and they see my card. I have my picture on my business card. And they see my card and they're like, I know her. I follow her on LinkedIn. And I'm like, oh, it's me. Hi.
I'm sorry, so you're in Clark Kent mode?
I'm in Clark Kent mode right now, yeah.
That's fantastic. You're going to have a cape. Your next set of photos, we need a cape.
Yes, we definitely need a cape.
Oh, so fun.
We talked a little bit about what manufacturers need to know, but like, if you're just getting started in marketing and you don't know what you're doing, where do you start?
So I know how this happens. You're either in the admin part of the company doing sales, or you're a manufacturer and you're getting additional responsibilities. That is where it starts. And you're now being asked to do marketing, and you're like, I didn't go to school for this. I don't know what I'm doing. Kids, great news back at home. I didn't go for school for this either. Well, but I also didn't know that could be a real job because I'm first generation. And as far as I know, you could be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a policeman, and those are a construction worker. And those were all, or secretary. Those were all the jobs in the world. I didn't know there was such a thing as marketing or that I would be any good at it. You now know you need to do it. You hear about digital ads, and you hear about websites, and you hear about, TikTok and all of these things you need to be on. So my first advice is always take a damn breath.
Yes. That is great advice.
Take a damn breath.
Literally any situation.
Really, take a damn breath. Yeah. And then look at what you're doing now. Now, you were given this responsibility either because things are going well or because they're not. So if they're not going well, figure out what isn't going well. Are you not getting enough leads? Are you not getting enough incoming employees? What is not going well? Great. Now you know what you need to do different. If it is going well, figure out what's going well and double down. Do more of it. And by the way, it is not being on 27 social media channels. It's being where your customers are. And where your customers are, everybody says social media is free. It is free. Absolutely. Are your customers on the social media channel you are? For example, are you on Twitter? That's now called X, and maybe they aren't there anymore, right? Maybe they're on Threads.
There's a whole other.
Go look at where your customers are. And they may be in there digitally as like one of the social channels. It may be an online forum. For example, in marketing, there's something called Casting Connections that is an online forum. They may be at a trade show or an event or a dinner. So you need to figure out where they are and where you can talk to them. And you start by talking to them. And then you start building things. That may mean you only have budget to do 2 ads a year, and you do two new ads a year for 3 years, and you have a stable of 6 you can rotate out. It may mean that you do 2 case studies a year, and then you have a stable in 3 years of 6 of those you can rotate out and bring to different shows that highlight different features, or you can send to your salespeople. It's thinking about what you do instead of one-offs as building bricks to something. You're building a stable of materials, you're building bricks to something, but not one-offs. The worst thing you can do, and Emily has heard me use this term, rams. You need to stop with your random acts of marketing. They're a sin against nature and God, okay? You need to stop with those, because all of those are reactionary and they don't actually build your brand. They might get you a quick sale, but they're not going to build you in the long run. And you're not going to be building on what you're actually good at and what you want to go forward with. So random acts of marketing, sin against God, stop those. Go with a plan. Go with a plan. So take a damn breath, figure out what's working or not, make a plan, and start building. That's
My spiel is always the quality of the materials that you're building are more important than actually doing the thing.
The quality versus the quantity is hugely important, because if your foundations are built out of styrofoam, they're going to crumble when you put bricks on top.
Yeah.
So basically, another way to think of that is if you have a website that's not built well and you have a huge amount of traffic in it, you can actually crash it. That's actually happened to some manufacturers before. So think of it that way. You have to have great materials that are built solidly so you can build on that basis.
If your website sucks and it's not giving the customer what they're looking for, they're not going to stay there, and then Google's not going to recommend it anymore. So
somebody recently showed me a website and he's like, what do you think of the placement of this picture? What do you think of the placement of this PDF? I read the website and the page, and I said, I don't actually think anything. You can move them wherever you like. What I'm more concerned about is that if I'm a purchasing agent or somebody looking for this, there's no information on this page that tells me what you do differently than anyone else, how I can buy this, how I can size this, or where I would do so. I'm much more concerned about that. It happened to be an ex-engineer who's now the CMO who was looking at this from a build perspective, and there's nothing wrong with that except it was the wrong lens that day. Once you've honed down what people want to know or need to know on your website, then you can fuss with the pictures and the placement of things and use a site mapping tool. That is advanced marketing. Okay, we don't start there. We start with giving people the information they need.
thank you.
Thank you for your time. This was fun.
Thank you for coming.
We did not talk about where to find me. My last name is Trusov, Trusov. So the name of my company is Tru Insights, Tru Insights Consulting. Yeah, I know, I was cutesy. Word of advice to the wise, because so many things are now, hey Alexa, hey Siri, make sure your brand name is something that can be said. Cutesy doesn't work anymore. But I'm old, this was built back in the day. So Tru Insights Consulting, you can hit me there. It's going to have all the socials. I'm also on LinkedIn, Threads, Twitter, most places.
She's on a lot more channels than me.
Yeah. There are a few more, but they're quiet, so we won't worry about them. It's good.
Well, thank you for joining us and sharing your expertise. I am always learning from you every time I talk with you, and I feel so blessed to have you in my realm. And
I love having you in my realm too.
I love you.
And I do want to remind you though what they say about experts. Niels Beer, I think this is the quote. An expert is a person who has made all of the mistakes possible in a narrow field. All I'm doing is suggesting people learn from my mistakes because I've made plenty of them.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
So
wise words. Wise words.
Niels Beer.
This is why I keep her around.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.